Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Your Views podcast. My name is Dems, and I'm joined today with a very, I'd say, influential guest, for a better term. Today's episode 5 in season 2 of Your Views podcast, where we share our experience living here in beautiful Grande Prairie, Alberta. If you guys are new here, my name is Dems. I'm a Jamaican who migrated to this beautiful city 5 years ago, and it's now my home. If you guys are new here, please take a second to hit that subscribe button, become a part of the family, hit that like button, and drop a comment. If you're watching from Grand Prairie, welcome. Drop your questions down in the comment section. I'm sure I'll go over it and I'll try my best to ask the questions that I think you guys want to know. But um, let's get into it. So we're joined by Reeve Marshall, Bob Marshall.
Yes.
Now we see you all the time, but would I say I know you? That's what I'm trying to get to do right now today. So for someone who's watching on, who is Bob Marshall? Take me back to those early years. Where were you born? Family, stuff like
Okay.
that.
So I grew up actually in half of my life in northern Alberta in Slave Lake. My dad was in the oil field construction and stuff, heavy equipment. So I grew up in Slave Lake till about 74. Then we moved to Toefield down by Edmonton. So that's where I graduated high school. And then I went on to college, Camrose Lutheran College.
Hmm.
I played college basketball there.
Impressive.
Yeah, well, I don't know. So many injuries are coming back to bite me now,
Yeah.
but I mean, it was a fun experience. It was a small college and stuff. So I will put in that we always beat Grand Prairie Regional College when I was playing. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but yeah. Then I did some engineering. I was studying engineering there. Got a little bit too much into the nightlife and didn't really study very well. So I
Hmm.
went on to Nate and after I got it what they call a dean's holiday because you do so well. That's what you tell your parents anyways
Yeah.
when you come home. Yeah, the dean gave me a holiday, mom and
We really and truly are just like
dad.
not in school anymore.
Yeah. So put me to work and then built up money and went to Nate. I did my electronic engineering
Okay.
technology, specializing in biomedical. Worked for Easter Seal Ability Council with the disabled community. So I assessed a lot of the whether paraplegics, quadriplegics,
Hmm.
or even people with MS or any disabilities as to what electronic aids would help them with their independence within their life and home to
Hmm.
try to give them some, I won't say normalcy, but at least give them some level of independence so they could carry on their lives with the challenges that they had in front of them. So that was a really interesting and uh, enlightening experience. I mean, working with the disabled community really inspired me because the challenges they have to
Hmm.
overcome, uh, just the normal day to day, compared to, I mean, we all have disabilities to some extent, but
Yeah.
not every. When you're looking at people with severe disabilities, it was it was really it was like I said, it was inspiring for me as to do better and around that. And then from there, I went to biomedical inspection services, and we looked after a lot of the small hospitals, and
Hmm.
actually in the north at Beaver Lodge, most of the hospitals in the north. So I did a lot of traveling up here, and at the time, I met my future wife
Hmm.
in.
I hope she's not watching. I hope
No,
she's not.
well, I lost her 2 years ago
Oh,
to
my
cancer.
condolences.
So, but yeah, sorry, it's still raw time.
That's okay.
Um, so I met her in Edmonton. She
Hmm.
was doing actually, she had first degree in home economics.
Okay.
And at the time, 80s, everything got shut down, and a lot of district home economist positions
Oh.
there wasn't a lot of them available. So she went back and did her after degree education,
Mm.
and she came up here was teaching, and which was good because I was doing the northern hospitals.
Yeah.
But then she got a permanent contract up here, and she's from the area. Her family homesteaded back. They homesteaded out by Beaver Lodge in 1915.
Okay.
So I ended up moving up here because she had a permanent contract. I relocated to a wireline company and then ended up out at Weyerhaeuser. Well, it was Procter and Gamble then when Weyerhaeuser bought them.
Hmm.
So I was there for 23 and a half years,
Whew.
many different roles out there. And then someone talked me into running for politics. And what I thought I knew about municipal politics, what I found out I knew about municipal politics.
Totally
So
different. I want
yeah,
to jump in a little bit though because you mentioned that you worked a lot with persons with disabilities. Like for me, that identifies with me because my wife and I we have a daughter, our 6-year-old. She's nonverbal autistic,
okay.
so that's actually something fantastic to hear. That that's a passion of yours and something that you have really worked on. So that really brings a level of joy to me, right? Now you've been through all of those stages of your life. What does Reeve Marshall do for fun?
Well, when I'm not working, I like I've got some rental properties, so
Mhm.
renovations. I did renovations around. I had a handyman business
Yeah.
on the side I was running, so I like to tinker, build. I've got a woodworking shop in my
Ooh,
shop at home, so right now it's a mess because I don't have time to get in there and get things
get things
organized and stuff.
organized. Yeah.
I've got projects piled up in there that I want to do, but
Mhm.
it's finding the time right now. So most of it's just getting out. I've got a black lab cross, so we get out. I go. He's kind of how I decompress. We
Mhm.
get home and we go for long walks and just get out
Okay.
in the country and enjoy the area, the atmosphere and stuff. So that and spending time with my family, my
Mhm.
grandkids, uh, camping when I can.
Okay.
Uh, Sports I used to, but again, it's finding time to make that commitment. If
Do
you're
you
gonna
still watch basketball? Okay, you played basketball. Do you watch basketball?
a little bit, but I don't have satellite
Yeah.
or where I'm at. I've got streaming services, but
Mhm.
I do watch a little bit when I get a
Okay. Do you
chance
have a
and stuff.
favorite team?
Well, of course, Toronto.
Knew you was gonna say that. See, I'm a Golden State Warriors fan,
Uh,
so
it used to be before Toronto came in. It was Sixers with
mhm.
Dr. J.
Yeah.
Like he was my, yeah, that guy was incredible. But I mean, there was a lot of good players back then. I mean, even Jordan
Yeah.
with
That team with Dennis
Chicago, the
Rodman and
Bulls.
yeah.
I mean, that whole team. Yeah, they were phenomenal. They were, yeah,
That was
incredible.
my generation when I just started watching basketball as well. Dennis Rodman,
Okay,
Michael Jordan, Chicago Bulls team,
yeah.
right? But I kind of grew out of love for the sport, and I'm more of a soccer fan now more than a basketball fan. But we'll get into that, right? So one of the things that I heard is that you have traveled Alberta quite a bit.
Yeah.
You have traveled, you've lived in Edmonton, you were born in Slave Lake, you moved to the county of Grande Prairie. Of all your travels, what made you decide that, you know what, Grande Prairie, apart from your wife, of course, but you could have stayed there for a couple of years and then you guys moved to somewhere else.
Yeah.
What made you stay?
You know what? It's not just one thing.
Hmm.
It's there's a lot to offer up here. I mean, you get up here, Slave Lake. When I lived in Slave Lake, it's primarily bush. There's some farmland and stuff around there, but you've got the hills and the lake, and it's some of the best beaches in the province
Hmm.
if you want to go to a lake and stuff. So it has that to offer, but very limited. If you're a very out woodsy person and
Hmm.
stuff, and that's what you like, fantastic. Here, when I came over to this area, it's like, what the heck am I going back to southern Alberta with all the prairies and how open the agricultural land? Like,
Yeah.
so it like we're not that far from if you want to be out in the bush and stuff, and you've got the agricultural land. They also call this dark sky
Yeah.
country for like for photography and stuff. I
Hmm.
mean, some of the aurora borealis. Like you look at some of the photographers
Perfect.
around there.
Yeah.
Uh, just the scenery that you got the mountains off in the southwest. I don't know. I like the hills. I like the mountains.
Yeah.
I like
Nature.
I like nature. Yeah, like just the scene, and even and it's not only that. I mean, you look at Grande Prairie with the size of the city
Hmm.
itself and what it has to offer from services and amenities and stuff.
Hmm.
I mean, we're sitting pretty good. You don't have to really go out to Edmonton. Edmonton definitely has more to offer and stuff,
Hmm.
but what it has now is phenomenal. And even the region, you look at what's in the county and MD,
Hmm.
and even the towns around here. There's I don't know. There's just so much.
Hmm.
I can't focus. There's not one thing.
There's not one thing. It's like a combination of things.
Yeah, it just has everything. I think that a family and the variety and stuff gives people a variety.
Yeah.
There's probably some opportunities. I know my son, he wanted to relocate to Edmonton because he's a foodie, him and his wife. So there's not as much of that scene around here. I know there is a bit of a scene with that, but
Yeah,
not as much as Edmonton
yeah,
has to
absolutely agree.
offer. But so that's maybe an opportunity for this. I mean, especially with all the ethnicities that
Hmm.
we have within here. I mean, you're from Jamaica.
That's right.
I
Yeah,
mean, we have people from India. We have people from Romania, Czechoslovakia, Ukraine. Like we have all kinds of different experiences.
cultures there.
Yeah. So, I mean, that could be an opportunity for the region to expand on stuff. But
Absolutely
like I said, it's not just one thing. It's everything that makes it.
makes it home.
Yeah. So it gives people an opportunity. There's so much variety
Yeah,
that you have to
and I
experience.
100% agree with you. In the sense that there's so much things there because like most other persons coming to Grand Prairie for me was a 2 year plan.
I've
Come
heard
for
that a
two
lot.
years and then move to the bigger city because where we're from in Jamaica, it's the city, it's the hustle and the bustle, the fast pace. Then when I got to Grand Prairie, it was almost like a stop in my tracks. Like everything was so laid back, easy going kind of thing. I'm like, I'm not gonna survive here. But then as time passed, what I realized is that the entire region starts growing on you. And once you become a part of the community, then you find your place and then it really becomes home, right? So one of the things that I really hope to see eventually is a more robust, I said, food scene. But I'll just broad brush it and say culture scene.
Yeah.
So where you can get different options, which encompass covers the diversity that actually exists in the region. But why did you get decide to get into politics?
I, like I said, I was going along, and my neighbors and a bunch of people, our the current counselor, she'd been in there for 20 some years.
Hmm.
She had decided to step down, and so a number of people approached me, thought I'd do a good job, and I
Hmm.
was hemming and hawing, and is it something I really want to do? But you know what? Looking back, 13 was when I 2013 was when I
2013,
got
that's
elected,
right.
and uh, it's been a fantastic experience. I mean, you're representing the people. You're there to provide service and do what you can to better the community.
Yeah.
You have an opportunity to influence and make things better in the
Hmm.
region. Listen to what people want. Am I going to agree with everybody? No. Are they going to agree with me? No. I mean, that's part of the whole thing. It's not 100%
Hmm.
guarantee. You try to, and for myself, the one philosophy, like Seven Generations Company,
Yeah.
they're bought out by ARC now. But when they explain where they got that from, that base, and I don't know if you're familiar with what Seven Generations means.
I have an idea.
So the
Yeah.
Iroquois, when the way they explain it, the Iroquois, that's what they looked like their governing model.
Hmm.
They looked at, okay, what decision are we making today, and how do we look out 7 generations?
In the
How is that
future.
going to impact that? And I look at the way the current political structure is set up. It's a 4 year cycle,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of people. It's about, okay, what do we got to do today? But are we always looking the decisions we make today, how much impact are they going to have on, is it really the best decision for the long-term
Yes.
prosperity of our region? And I try to do that. Am I
Hmm.
perfect? No, at doing that, but I really like that philosophy.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what I think is, if more of us had that philosophy versus what do I want right now,
Hmm.
the instant gratification, and maybe that is the right decision, but are we really looking at that long-term
And I think
picture?
the delayed gratification is more worthwhile as well because you have more sustained growth, sustainability, rather than that instant gratification that's not necessarily sustainable over the long term. So
Yeah,
100% agree with that. So Grand Prairie is Alberta's first county.
yes,
I learned that the other day
yeah.
actually, and it's also Albert.
1951, I believe, is the year. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also Alberta's largest county.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think I read that yesterday when I was doing
Okay, I
some
know we're
research.
one. Yeah, because there are larger municipalities. They're called MDs and stuff.
Hmm.
That's what the county was before it
Yes.
became the county. But okay, it could very well be. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm not aware of that. So I did learn something new.
Absolutely.
So,
What are some of, just for persons watching right now, what are some of the communities that are part of the county?
so within our governance model, we have
Hmm.
hamlets. So
Okay.
we have Valhalla, La Glace. out on the northwest,
Okay.
and then Hythe, actually, they were a village and they just dissolved into the county, so they're now a
Oh.
hamlet. And then our biggest hamlet is right around in the north side of the city of Grande Prairie,
Mhm.
which is Claremont,
Okay.
which includes subdivisions of Whispering Ridge and
Whispering Ridge is a part of Claremont? I
yes,
thought
it
that was
is.
a part of the city.
No, it's part of Claremont.
Oh.
So, and a lot of people don't realize that. So
Yeah, because it's so close,
it
right?
is, well, we're border to border. If you
Yeah.
look at, if you're going out north on Highway 2,
Mhm.
when you get just past Windsor Ford,
Mhm.
that's the county on the other side
Ooh.
of that. So about another maybe quarter mile, like
Yeah.
not even, maybe an eighth of a mile, and then that's all county
Yeah.
to the north. Like 4 Mile Corner where the intersection is to
Yes.
go Highway 43 and stuff, that's
Mhm.
all in the county area.
Okay.
And then all those Whispering Ridge and all those subdivisions to the
Mhm.
west, yeah, to the west of Highway 2,
Okay.
that's all the county, and it borders right on, like Arbor Hills is the city, but
Mhm.
right on the other side of that is the county.
Is the county.
So
And what's the population generally of the county? Like,
the county, we just completed the census, rough numbers. I haven't seen the
mhm.
final version. We're sitting around just shy of 26,000.
Okay.
So the majority of that is clustered around the city itself.
Mhm.
It's probably 10 to 15,000 in that
Okay.
range. If you look at Claremont, it's over 5,000 right now.
Mhm.
So with that, uh, because it's over 5,000, we now have to have our own RCMP detachment out
Oh,
there.
that's so.
And because the city is going to their own police force,
Yeah, Grand Prairie Police
yeah,
Service.
so
Yeah.
all the RCMP elements that are within that, like the rural RCMP deployment is still within the city.
Okay.
So that will all be moving out to Claremont to the new detachment that we're in the process of
Mhm.
acquiring land and
Yeah.
working with the RCMP and the federal government around building that new detachment.
Sounds like hard work to me.
There's a lot, there's a lot to it, and that's one of the things. Like I said, it's been a fantastic experience. It's
Mhm.
not just you come in and do your job. It's the same thing every day,
Every
every
day.
day. There's so much variety and so many things you need to know and be aware
Mhm.
of, and you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Like I have
Yeah.
learned a lot in the last 13 years.
Mm.
So
So being a politician, I'm sure you'd have had one, a lot of misconceptions towards the office, and two, a lot of challenges that comes with being in a position that you are. What are some of the challenges that you'd say you face from the public or just being in that role?
people have concerns, uh, a lot of different concerns. It could be, I mean, and being a rural municipality, the
Mhm.
number one when I was campaigning and stuff is what we hear is roads.
Roads.
It's because that's you're living out in the country, you want to be able to get to work or wherever you're going. So that's the number one concern. And we have, if you look at our road infrastructure within the county, if you were to line it up and go to one city and back,
Yeah.
it would be Winnipeg.
Okay.
You go all the way to Winnipeg and back if you took all the road infrastructure we have
Yeah.
and just put it in one linear line and back.
Yeah.
So a significant volume of roads that we have to maintain
Yeah.
and keep up. So that's the biggest thing that you hear from the rural side.
Hmm.
On the West County, what we've heard, and we're just dealing with that now, is replacing the Beaver Lodge Hospital
Yes.
with a new health facility that's trying to have the same services. And I know there's some differences from what Alberta Health Services
Hmm.
wants that the service model to look like versus what the doctors and what the residents would like. And
Would like.
myself, one of them, I've got family still
Hmm.
out there and a lot of friends and constituents that
Yes.
I represent. So from my understanding, the physical plant that they're proposing
Hmm.
will have more than what the existing facility that's falling rapidly
Yeah.
into disrepair will have. If they took the existing operating model from that
Yeah.
plant and moved it to the new plant, it would be fantastic, is what the doctors have told me. The issue is what AHS wants the operating model to look like and what the doctors in the community wants it to look like. There's a lot of discrepancy.
Discrepancy.
That's where the friction is coming right now. So
Yeah.
that's going to be the challenge, and we need. yeah, so we need to get the physical plant, and while we're building that, my perception, while we're building that, we need to work to get the operating model
Hmm.
closely aligned to what the doctors and what the community wants versus what AHS and Edmonton is telling us. So, because it's a complementary model to the brand new regional
Yes.
hospital that we have here. It's not, it doesn't have operating suites, it doesn't have
Hmm.
maternity in that. It's more, it'll have your diagnostic imaging, it'll have a lab, it'll have, ideally, again,
Ideally.
we're not there, the
Yeah.
emergency to deal with the cases that are there
Hmm.
and take some of the load off of of the Grande Prairie
Grande Prairie
Hospital,
Hospital, yeah.
especially the emergency, because one of the other challenges we're looking at from our region is doctor, like family physicians and stuff.
Yes.
So I know there was an announcement around Northwest Polytechnic, and we're going to be
Partnering,
start
yeah.
training doctors and stuff in the north, in the region. And typically, if you train rural people here, they will stay here. Just talking to Vanessa Shane, who's
Hmm.
the president of
I did
Northwest.
speak. I did interview her on my podcast
Yeah,
a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago. So yeah, when you mentioned that you beat GPRC in basketball, she came to mind actually because she used to play
that she used to,
basketball as
yeah.
well. So I'm not sure she'll
Long after
appreciate
me, long after
it.
me, but actually, Chris Nickel, who was the coach, I don't know if you ever met him
I
or
don't
not,
think so.
but he was the coach for GPRC. We played together. He
Oh,
was on on the team with Kamloops
gotcha.
Lutheran College.
So you then played for the
Well,
enemy.
then he was coaching me, but I mean that was long, many years after the fact. So
Absolutely. So one of the things that the city of Grand Prairie is doing is inviting persons to the city a lot through the rural renewal stream
yeah.
and different pathways to.
Oops, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. So they're inviting a lot of persons to different pathways and rural renewal streams, etc. Is that something the county is also looking into, or is the county doing stuff like that
We
as
have
well?
partnerships with both the smaller town like Sexsmith,
Hmm.
Wembley. I think I can't remember if Beaver Lodge is part of it, but we do have that as well. So some of the challenges within that program and we're trying to deal with is just because you have to basically work where you're housed.
Oh,
And a lot reality is a lot of the work, they don't understand the municipal boundaries. They don't care.
yeah,
It's they're living in the city and they're working out in the county, or they're
yeah.
living in the county and they're working in the city, like they're living
Hmm.
in Claremont or whatever, and coming in. So that's some of the challenge is that we're facing
Hmm.
around that is getting that barrier removed so that
Hmm.
people can flow better
Yeah,
and do what's best for them and the businesses
that's right.
and just the community in general.
Yeah.
So we are working, like I said, there not unfortunately no system is ever
No,
perfect.
not at all, not at all. One of the things that myself wanted to do was to go to different communities in the county and just show it so people can see what it has to offer. I haven't gotten around to it yet,
Yeah.
but that's something that I've been wanting to do for a while. Like for example, Sexsmith, um, Wembley, Beaver Lodge, just the different. Is Valley View a part of the county as well?
No. So
No.
our boundary is the Smoky River
Okay.
and then the Saddle Hills,
Mhm.
kind of about halfway. That's our northern boundary. Then the
Mhm.
BC border, and then the Wapiti is
Okay.
our southern boundary.
Wapiti they go. Gotcha. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I was saying, that's one of the things that I wanted to do so I can showcase the wider region as well because I believe that if the city is growing, the county is also growing as well, and then both work in tandem. So I'm guessing the county of Grande Prairie and the city of Grande Prairie works very closely together on most projects.
For the most part, yeah. The city and us, and even Greenview, like we're
Hmm.
the three largest municipalities, and with the economic opportunities within
Yes.
the, we're trying to look at it from a regional
Hmm.
aspect because, like I said, most people don't under. I know what the municipal boundaries look like.
Yeah.
Most people don't. They don't know where, as you said, like where does
Exactly.
Claremont and the city on the northern
Exactly.
boundary. So most people don't, and they don't care. It's like provide us with the services and
Hmm.
provide us with what we need from a municipal government
Okay.
so that we can live our lives and do the best we can. So we're stepping, in the past, there was unfortunately some of that friction between the municipalities, but
Hmm.
we've got a lot better. We've recognized that we are stronger if we work together, and we need to get rid of as much of those boundaries as we can. I mean, for the most
Mhm.
part, we're from an economic standpoint, we recognize that whatever comes to the region, big industry or whatever
Yeah.
happens, is going to benefit everybody.
Yes.
They may, if they situate in the city, there's still going to be spin-off to the county and the MD. But the situation in the MD or the county, same thing.
Same
Everybody,
thing.
there's going to be spin-off benefits to businesses and even just bringing people to the region and stuff.
Mhm.
So we're recognizing that and we're working a lot better from an economic standpoint to that. I mean, we still represent our area and we want to do what's best for that, but it's more of a unified effort.
Mhm.
And then, okay, then we'll market our own, what we have to offer, and does it fit? Maybe it's best in the city.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Maybe it's best in the county. And we're recognizing that and we're not
Yeah.
isolating so much. So we're
Gotcha.
doing a lot better with that and we're trying our best to, yeah, because even industry, like when we're out internationally and stuff,
Mhm.
talking to some of the big players, they're looking at municipalities that work together. And even within our indigenous community and stuff,
Mhm.
we're building those, trying to build those better relations.
Relationships.
And for us, it's not so much the economic, like giving them the opportunity. To some extent, there is, depending what we have going on.
Mhm.
But it's fostering those relationships. If we have business coming in,
Mhm.
making those connections with our indigenous counterparts.
All working together towards the same goal.
Yeah, and especially we recognize like with truth and reconciliation, what we need to do around that, and we need to include the
Mhm.
indigenous community within that. I mean, they're part of it. It's consultation and stuff. So
Yes.
the big players internationally, they understand that, and if we can facilitate those connections and those relationships, then that I view as the biggest component of our role as a municipality.
Okay.
So,
So it's now the year 2050. Uh, Grand Prairie, the county of Grand Prairie. What does it look like? If in a perfect world.
well, ideally, if you look at the agricultural side,
Mhm.
we have, and I'm talking not just our county, if you look at the whole northwest of Alberta, there's more agricultural land in the northwestern part of Alberta than there is in Manitoba.
Mhm.
So a lot of people didn't realize, I didn't realize that until I got on county council and
Yeah.
stuff. So there's a lot of agricultural land if you go up to high level and
Mhm.
back in La Crete area. I don't know if you've ever been up there.
I've been there once.
So the amount of agricultural land, it's huge, and some of the crops are fantastic. It's a unique climate, like the amount of sunlight that we have
Mm.
in the summertime. Not so much in the wintertime, but in the summertime and stuff, it's it's great for from an agricultural
Mhm.
standpoint. So is there value added that we can do instead of just shipping all our grain somewhere else to be
Yes.
processed somewhere else? So I mean, could be biofuels, uh, canola crushing. I don't know. We're working on that very hard.
Mhm.
So from an agricultural side, we get massive opportunities.
Mhm.
From oil and gas, natural resources,
Yes.
from that, we have huge potential there as well. Again, of value added. Like we're most of our product is being shipped raw material either down to the heartland in Edmonton
Mhm.
or somewhere else to be processed and
Okay.
stuff. So I know Greenview is working on what they call the GIG,
Okay.
Greenview Industrial Gateway. So basically a concept of the heartland around Edmonton
Okay.
for that industrial complex. We have industrial land within the county that we're working on. Um, so there's, again, huge potential. So we're working on
Yeah.
trying to get those players in to, because it also, that's the biggest piece of our tax base.
Yes.
The reality is industrial component, commercial, they're the
Mhm.
biggest component of our tax base. And if we have that here, it reduces the load on our residential
Residential.
and we have more money to provide more services
Mhm.
to our ratepayers and stuff.
Yeah.
So that, and then even forestry. Like we've got the pulp mill, we've got two sawmills one within the city, one just south. Greenview has one down in Grand Cache.
Okay.
There's one north in Hines Creek. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of wood product, and we just did a study with Greenview, uh, BD, BDO rating of wood for woody biomass. It's an A rating. So basically, what it says is we've got accessible 300,000 metric tons of woody biomass that the industry isn't using currently. So that's extra. Like
That's
whether it's
opportunity.
limbs, it's an opportunity. And I mean, there's again, it could be biofuels, it could be pellet. Like again, it's another. We've got the
Mhm.
raw material here. We've got lots of raw material.
Yeah.
So it's okay. Now we need to market that, and that's what the city, us,
Hmm.
and MD we're doing in a more unified effort and
Yes.
stuff. To here's what our potential is.
And
Okay,
seek
what do
those
you need?
investments
Yeah,
here as well. And I think that would drive not only economic development, but also population growth, and also all of the other factors will come into play as long as those infrastructure and economic growth are taking place.
yeah. So I mean, the potential is huge by 2050. If we realize any of those big players
Hmm.
coming in, the growth in the region, like, I'm not sure what it's gonna look like, but I don't want to predict. You- the world is changing so rapidly now. Like it's
Hmm.
almost at an exponential rate. You look from when
Hmm.
I was born back in the 60s to now, how fast the world is changing. It's on an exponential curve.
From no computer to
Well,
computer in your hands.
technology, yeah. I mean, this is more powerful than the computers on the shuttle or the Atlas rockets that sent our people to the moon.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, yeah, it's
Just the way the world
incredible.
is. I'm gonna ask you a question that I asked Mayor Jackie Clayton when I spoke to her. Um, so my audience would not forgive me if I didn't ask this question.
Okay.
Are you planning to run again?
That I'm about 70-30, yes.
Okay.
Uh, there's a lot of variables right now because height is dissolved.
Mhm.
We have to do an electoral boundary review within our divisions.
Okay.
So there's currently 9 councillors on county
Mm.
council, and the last time that the divisions were looked at was back, I think, it was around '95, and that at that point the county had all the school boards as
Okay.
well, so the schools were under the county.
Mhm.
So at that point, they separated out. I think there was 11 counselors at that time. When they separated, then it went to nine divisions versus 11. So the county has changed a lot since '95,
Oh, of
and
course.
from a population standpoint and everything else. So if it's significant change and my division changes significantly, that
Mhm.
could have an impact on it. Uh, but since I've stepped up to the Reeve position, I was only planning on maximum 3 terms, which this is my 3rd term.
Okay.
But with the Reeve, I said, you know what, I'd probably run a 4th term just so there was that continuity
Mhm.
going forward. But as a Reeve, it's not like the mayor. Every year I am
Oh.
selected. So the way our council, I'm not elected at large. I'm elected as a councillor, and then our council every year in
Oh,
our
I understand.
organizational meeting selects the Reeve.
Understood. So it's like amongst the council, they nominate the chairperson pretty much, who then becomes the reeve.
Basically, yeah,
So do
basically,
you see the reeve being the height of your political career, or are you
yeah.
planning to go federal?
No, no. To be honest, I enjoy this because there's no political parties.
Yes.
I can look at all decisions. I don't have to toe any political line.
Hmm.
It's what is the best
For the county.
for the county and our region, and I can look at it from that holistic perspective versus okay, I'm being forced to. And that's one thing I struggled with when I was at Weyerhaeuser when I moved into
Hmm.
management. There's always some stuff coming down from above that you
Yes.
disagree with, but when it gets to the point where you can't, and you can suck it up and move ahead with the odd
Hmm.
one, but when you're being told that you have to go this way and it goes against your own belief system and stuff,
100%.
it's hard to do. So that's why I like the municipal side. I would never go provincial or
Hmm.
federal.
So someone watching this right now wants to be the reeve in the future, wants to put themselves in a position to be the reeve in the future. What advice would you give to that person?
Uh, get elected, uh, get involved in your community,
Hmm.
because I mean that's what I believe. Talking to a lot of it when I first ran, because I coached a lot. Uh, there's a lot of things I was involved with in the
Hmm.
community, so that resonated with a lot of people. They liked that aspect. I don't know whether they voted for me, but it sounded at the door. It sounded like they were going to vote for me. But
Yeah.
so being involved in the community and a positive role model within the
Mhm.
community is a good thing. So that's one thing that'll help and get elected because there is a lot to learn. That first year was like I was drinking from a fire hose, just trying to keep
Ooh.
my head above water and the amount of information that you're taking in. And the first term, even that 4 years, you just some people will go quicker than others, but
Yeah.
to learn even how to advocate to the provincial government and stuff
Mhm.
and just building those relationships
Mhm.
and such. So the experience to get to the Reeve position, uh, leadership. I mean, the fact that Leanne stepped down and created that opportunity, and then a number of most of the council approached me to
Yeah.
step out into that position. I mean, that was pretty. I'm not sure what I'm trying to think of the word, but for them to have that kind of faith
And
in
confidence.
in me and my abilities to take on that role. I mean, Leanne was there for 10 years. She did a
Mhm.
fantastic job. She had a lot of connections and stuff. So,
Yeah.
and she's still there now. So to rely on some of her experiences
Mhm.
is good. So, and then our administration has been fantastic too.
Mhm.
So it helps when you've got a good supporting cast.
Yes.
But the biggest thing is get involved in the community, get elected and start learning because it is a huge learning curve. Like
Mhm.
I said, what I thought I knew and what I found out I knew. Yeah, it's
So looking back over your tenure so far, what's one thing that stands out in your mind that you can say, I'm proud of that? That's my success story. If I should limit office right now, that's the one thing I'd look back on and say, I did that.
again, I can't say one thing because there's so many because it's not me.
Hmm.
It's a team effort
Yeah,
because
of course, yeah.
I don't get to make those decisions whether I'm a counselor or the Reeve or whatever. It's working together as a team
Hmm.
and moving the needle for I mean the twinning of Highway 40
Hmm.
south that was one the county and the MD stepped up to get the government to move ahead on. Like we put 10 million into that. We're advocating hard to get the connector around
Hmm.
so that we get all that heavy traffic out of the city and stuff. And it's just better for the businesses and everything else. So from an infrastructure standpoint, those are two of the big ones. Beaver Lodge Hospital,
Yeah,
trying to get that one or health facility because it doesn't have operating suites and stuff, so it doesn't technically classify as a
as
hospital
hospital.
anymore. But to get that across the finish line and get the services out there, the health services out there for the residents in, on
Hmm.
the West County, because basically, if you look at the West County, what that facility serves, it's around 12 to 15,000
Hmm.
people that facility will service. So I'm hoping that will be done before next year, whether I get
Hmm.
democratically retired or I
Knock on
choose
wood,
to
yeah.
retire. Uh, but that was the biggest thing I heard was roads and the health
Health
facility and when I
facility.
first started running and stuff.
Hmm.
So, but there's been so many other things like there's a lot of little things that happen
Hmm.
even within the community, like helping our volunteer groups and stuff.
Yes.
They are so much they add so much value to our communities and stuff
Hmm.
and they provide services that if we had to do from a municipal standpoint,
Yeah,
the cost would be significant.
massive.
So anywhere we can help with that, like the grants we provide
Hmm.
and the support we can provide on an administrative level and stuff, because a lot of those volunteers don't have the time.
Hmm.
They, it's not their full-time job. They're out there trying to be involved in the community
Yes.
and do something better. So, like I said, there's just so many. It's not one. I'm sorry,
No, no, that's okay.
but there's just so many different things, and I think we've helped move the needle with our
Hmm.
volunteer groups to get them better and situated
Yeah.
in a better situation so that they can be successful in the communities
Hmm.
and provide those services to our because they're right there in the community. They know what's best.
Hmm.
Like I said, municipal government, in my mind, is better than provincial or federal because we're on the ground. We're right here.
You're right here.
We're here
Exactly.
all the time. So even our volunteer groups are even more. They're right involved in the community, that
Yeah.
local area. Like that's where they're focused on. So yeah,
I, I, I
sorry, it's I can't pick one.
I have an idea of the overall picture, and I think that's fantastic in terms of just making sure that the hospital will be completed, the road network will be more developed, and all of those factors. So I think that's good. But what I want to ask you, because I did ask Mayor Clinton this as well, i.e., not with much success, because I'm like, hey, if I'm driving down the street and a cop pulled me over and I say, hey, I know Mayor Clayton. Would I would I be exempt? But she
Uh,
said, no, 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 no. You're gonna get a ticket. So
yeah.
if I say, hey, you know what, the Reeve and I, we're good friends, you know, am I still gonna get a ticket?
I would suggest you might not want to do that because you might get more hassle than you would if you just were polite. And you know, sometimes they'll just pull you over, and but if you start trying to wave the trump card,
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah, yeah.
may
They'll
get
be
you in
like,
trouble.
yeah, I'll be like, okay, then triple the ticket, whatever. But
It's
we're gonna finish off by asking you 5 questions. These five
okay.
questions is just for um my audience to know you a little bit better. Okay, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be low level,
Okay.
nice and relaxed. Okay. So, what's your idea of the perfect meal?
Oh, that's I. Mm, you know what? If I'll go to my perfect day,
Hmm.
barbecued steak, uh, potatoes and vegetables done up in a tin foil wrap uh, with butter and stuff, and then barbecue on the barbecue and stuff, and just
Hmm.
let them cook that way, and just enjoying having family and friends
Yeah,
playing and doing what hanging out and having a beer or
yeah.
a drink, and but probably I guess I'm gonna have to go with Alberta beef. My
Alberta beef.
yeah.
Okay, and what's your favorite movie?
Oh, okay. Avengers Endgame.
Holy, I would never thought. I would never thought. That's actually a very good movie, but I didn't take you for the action.
Yeah, I'm a science fic,
Yeah.
fantasy. The trilogy for oh Temple of Doom,
Hmm.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones, the
Oh,
trilogy, the
okay.
original trilogy, original Star Wars trilogy. I could go on and on. I've got a whole rack of DVDs in my home theater, and my
Mm.
Blu-rays and stuff. So
Okay. So the other question is, would you prefer a cruise around the world or a flight around the world? Are you a kind of person who enjoys like the ocean or just getting to your destination?
I've never been on the ocean on a cruise.
Hmm.
I was on a river cruise last year with
Okay.
my sister and brother-in-law and my niece in Europe. So the river that was a pretty unique experience.
Hmm.
So I would much rather, I think, do that if I had the time and effort to do it, and just take a month or a couple months
Yeah.
and just yeah
Mm.
relax and go and see something.
Okay. Awesome. Now I'm not sure if you're a dancer, but what's your favorite music genre, and also who's your favorite singer?
Well, I'm a rock and roller, uh, Def Leppard or AC/DC.
I have no idea who those are.
Okay, so I'm not good with names.
Yeah.
They're lead singers and stuff, but
Hmm.
they're hard rock. They're
Okay.
80s
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 rock.
man. It's like
Okay.
80s is the best music.
Do you do vinyl? Do you do vinyl as well with those records or
No,
no?
no. And even I like country too. Like
Hmm.
I would say my favorite country band would be the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Hmm.
Like I like two stepping.
Okay.
So
Well, a lot of persons like a colleague of mine, she's barely 25 years old. She's like she's she's been two-stepping since she's 5 years old. I'm like, it's the culture. It's
yeah.
the culture.
Well, there's yeah. I mean, I grew up in the communities. There was dances
Hmm.
at least a couple of months and stuff. So it was all these, and it was all country. It was old time
Hmm.
waltzes and yeah, two step and polkas, shawty. Yeah, there's yeah. So you just grew up doing that, and weddings and stuff, and
Weddings,
family
yeah.
weddings. Just yeah, you learn to dance.
And the last question is, if you could change one thing in the world, anything at all, if you could snap your finger and change that one thing, what would it be?
With the way the world is right now, having people have the ability to come and have that rational discussion no matter what their views are
Hmm.
and instead of being polarized and if you disagree with me, I'm going to start calling you names
Mm.
instead of, you know what, we can have a rational discussion. I can understand your perspective I don't have to agree with that, but we can still walk away friends.
Yes. Agree to disagree kind of thing.
Agree to disagree. Because I'm the way the world is going right now, and even in our own country and south of the border and
Hmm.
all the other stuff, that's the biggest challenge. It's creating more and more division, more and more of this
Hmm.
versus having that ability to have those rational discussions. Because what I found is my own personal
Hmm.
journey is basically if you can have those discussions, my view and your view, maybe together we can come up with a better view.
Better view. I'll take the
So,
best parts of your views, the best parts of mine, put it together, and we get the finished product.
but if you can't have that conversation, you're never going to have those differences of opinions and
Hmm.
have those, have those discussions and try to move things forward.
100%. On that note, I want to thank you so much, Reeve Marshall,
Well, thank
for
you for taking the opportunity.
being a
And
part of our podcast today. I really enjoyed talking to you. I learned a lot about the county and about you as well. I didn't know that you were a
well, I
basketball
learned
fan.
I learned something too. I mean, I didn't realize county was large. I knew
Yeah.
it was one of the larger ones, but I didn't realize it was the
Mm.
largest county.
We are
So,
gonna agree to disagree on Toronto Raptors though. Like absolutely, not my favorite team, but
all right,
it's the only Canadian team that's
yeah.
in the NBA. So I guess
Used to be
my.
Vancouver Grizzlies, but
Mhm.
they went to Minnesota, I think.
Oh,
I
really?
think that's where they ended up, the
Mm.
franchise.
So
Yeah,
are you Islanders fan too?
of course.
Oh.
Used to be a Maple Leafs fan until Toronto came in. I was an old diehard with the old Sittler
Hmm.
and Boreas Salming and Lanny McDonald and those guys back in the day.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
Did you get to watch any of the games the other day
I didn't get to see them
in
in
person?
person, but
Hmm.
yeah, I watched. Yeah, it was
It was
they did. It
actually,
was a fantastic. It was a fantastic run. They did a fantastic
and to
job.
get back from 3-0 down was actually something to be
Well,
proud
kind of goes back to the beginning of the season when they started in the tank,
of.
and
Hmm.
then they rattled off what was it, 16 or 17 straight wins.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you know what? Um, I slowly started getting into hockey like probably 2 years ago, and I've always favored the Flames more than the Oilers. But
okay, well, we'll forgive you for that
yeah,
comment.
but everyone who I've spoken to in Grand Prairie seems to be an Oilers fan. So I wanted to know like why? Like what's the is it because Edmonton is closer to us?
Me, I don't know.
Well, you lived in Edmonton, so you have like roots there, right?
Yeah, I was there when the Oilers were in their dynasty
Yeah.
era and stuff. So
Or is there just a
I
lot
don't
of
know. Maybe it is closer. Like I'm an Edmonton. Well, it used to be Eskimos, but now it's Elks. I was
mhm.
their fan for the football team.
Or probably there's just a lot of wagonness going
I
on.
used to, if Edmonton didn't make it, I would cheer for Calgary. But
Mhm.
yeah, the Flames and Edmonton is like, not
No.
Flames. Unless you're the only Canadian team in the playoffs, I'm
You
not
don't
going
have
to
a
cheer
choice.
for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I haven't watched one of the Storm games as yet. I should definitely go and check it out as well.
It's been a couple years since I've been there. I haven't been there
Hmm.
lately, but yeah, I used to listen to them on the radio when I was
Hmm.
working out at the mill. I was working weekend
Okay.
nights and stuff, so it was one way to keep the keep from falling asleep when
Pass the
you're
time.
working night shifts and
Pass the
stuff.
time.
But yeah,
Yeah.
listen to the games. But I haven't been to one in a few years. Yeah.
Yeah, we should make that happen. Absolutely. Again, thank you so much. And thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Your View Podcast. If you're in Grand Prairie or if you're thinking of coming to Grand Prairie, know that Grand Prairie is not just a city, but it's also a county with many different possibilities for persons who are looking to take advantage of the many different opportunities that exist, right? So my life is a testimony of the difference that moving to Grand Prairie can make in your life. So if you're in Canada as well and you're looking to move somewhere or to invest somewhere, know that this is an option as well, right? Check out all the links in the video description. Drop your comments underneath this video. And as best as possible, I'll see if I can answer. If I can't, I'll shoot Reeve Marshall an email and he'll say that's the answer, okay? Again, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Good